the National Assembly, the resolutions, how they want to make it perhaps a bill, what the executive arm of government need to do to respect that, quote and unquote. Well, now we're joined by Mr. Babatunde Ogala, who is a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and he chaired the, is it the Judicial Committee?
Committee on Judiciary.
Okay, thank you for coming on this morning. Also a legal practitioner.
Yeah, thank you.
Two caps, yes, politics, law. I mean, we should be able to get the benefits. Yes, because we've heard people say, first and foremost, the law is not emotional. And the National Assembly, to all intents and purposes, yes, well-intended perhaps, but they're emotional about this because a resolution is what it is, a resolution. And so if you ask the National Assembly, the FG, to respect it, what do you want them to do? What constitutes a respect? What should the FG do about that?
You see, I guess we are coming from the statement that was attributed to the Information Minister, which I would say with all respect was most irresponsible. He could have been more tactical. Resolutions are what they are. Persuasive arguments. Advice to the executive. However, in a virile and vibrant democracy, when a National Assembly that constitutes of representatives of every clan, every person, every citizen of a country, sits down, raises an issue, takes it through painstaking debate, sometimes goes through public hearing, memoranda. It's, when I was in the House, sometimes it takes 3-4 months of painstaking work to arrive at a resolution. If your National Assembly makes such a resolution, it is not in your place as a president who wants a good relationship with his legislature. Don't forget, no matter how good a governor is, no matter how good a president is, no matter how good a local government chairman is, he accounts for only 30% of the success attributed to that government. Because they are arms of government. And without the National Assembly, you can do nothing. So for you as an information minister, and it is not in his place to even say that. Because what mandate does he have to even say the advisory and I mean,
okay, well,
the president is the one.
But the
look,
lawyers are saying he was stating the obvious, that is there.
It is, I agree with you. We are now moving away from, I've considered that resolutions are persuasive advice. That's what they ought to be. That's why I've given you a scenario where a legislature makes a resolution and no president, no governor who wants to rule, who wants to lead, would say, I dismiss it. Even if you are not comfortable with what they've come to, there are more tactical and diplomatic ways of engagement.
okay.
You can come for a meeting and say, look, let me make you understand why it could not be so. We had such motions, resolutions when I was in the House, and when the governor is not, whether is not comfortable, we come to a round table. We sit down.
But
Look, understand this, why this cannot be done, why that cannot be done.
okay, so yes, perhaps they need to do a lot more to enhance their political maneuvers. But the thing is, as it stands, if they go ahead and try to give their resolution the force of law, what might be the implication of that? Because as it is...
You see, that is where I say there ought to be need for diplomacy. Anarchy might set in. If the National Assembly today sits down, says, okay, what you call a resolution, which ought to be an advice, and it makes it a law, it is law. Oh. If it makes it a law that says, okay, we're going to make a law that says people in the National Assembly, people in presidency should not wear caps. President will withhold his assent.
Then after 30 days?
I mean, if he withholds, which he would naturally do, And the National Assembly will exercise its powers and pass it, and it becomes law. It is law, and that is where you must avoid such confrontation. Not at a time where you are ready almost to present a budget.
Okay, look at these two, pardon me for butting in and cutting you short on your train of thoughts there. Look at these two scenarios. The Senate comes up with one about the BPE, indicting El-Rufai, and then now they're considering MENA. And then the House of Representatives also come up with that about Arimauti and all. And then the argument then pops up. The Senate, I mean, in appointing some of these members in those positions, they go through confirmation by the Senate.
Yes.
Of which the House of Reps has no input whatsoever.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And so when that happens, and then you come back and say, no, this was not right, doesn't that smack of some sort of a political vendetta?
I would not think the House of Reps would say the process of the appointment was not right.
If she was not, if
maybe
they say
the actions of the office holder, of the appointee.
No, what was said
Haruna Ote,
on was it Wednesday?
Yes, in Haruna Ote's case. The resolution, I understand the House of Reps to be passing, not that I agree with the resolution, but what I understand it to be saying is not that Haruna Ote was not appointed through due process.
Yeah, but they said she was not qualified by law in the first place. That's all the information.
No, that is true. That argument is never even. She had not spent 10 years in the Nigerian capital market and all that. I know that argument had been on and on there. Well, that might be true. The Senate could have made a mistake. It just might be true.
So, should the attempt to reverse that come from the House of Reps or the Senate?
It's an observation.
No,
even I.
It's a resolution. Now.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's a resolution of the House. The House has made this observation and recommended to the President. Like we said, it is advisory. The Senate might have made its mistakes. Don't forget, the National Assembly once amended the Electoral Act. They once tried to amend the local government law. And these bills were all challenged in courts. The Electoral Act, if you recall, the challenge that opened the doors for multiplicity of political parties. They have tried to peg the number. And the Supreme Court said no, even though it was law. The Supreme Court said no, you have no powers to do that. So even if the National Assembly, the Senate as it were, had confirmed the nominee error, even the private citizen can challenge it in court.
How do these resolutions concern the primary responsibility of lawmaking of the National Assembly?
The duties of a legislature is not just about lawmaking.
No, I mean primary. I didn't say.
No, I'm saying to you, it's not just about lawmaking. There are 5 duties. It has the duty of lawmaking, representation. It has the duty of overseeing the checks. That's where the checks and balance comes in. It's the approving authority for nominees and appropriating body. These are 5 distinct functions as I understood it and still do. Though lawmaking, everybody talks about lawmaking. How much of laws do you make? The oversight function, that is where things like the probe. Because when a body appropriates the money, the president cannot spend without appropriation. His policies are more often than not tied to his budget. And it is the legislature that appropriates. He cannot spend a dime